time for the BAFTA Fellowship, the highest accolade BAFTA can bestow upon an individual. The fellowship recognises outstanding and exceptional contribution to the arts. Here to tell us more about this year's winner, we have a woman representing one of the great British success stories in the games industry. Please welcome the co-founder and studio director of Media Molecule, Siobhan Reddy.
Hello. So like a lot of people here, I have childhood memories of playing the LucasArts games with my siblings, for which I will be forever grateful. But tonight, I want to talk about the Tim that I know now and how important it is for us to, as an industry, to recognize his amazing impact. Tim and I have forged a friendship over a shared love of the chaotic creativity of making games and the people that revel in it. One of my wise friends said a thing to me once. He said, "You should always judge a conversation on how it made you feel, no matter the words they said." Tim, a giant in his field, long before I ever met him, never once made me feel like I didn't belong, never once made me feel like he was a superstar and I was something lowly, never once was a shit. Instead, he always made me feel like a fellow collaborator, and he always celebrated and encouraged Media Molecule. Every chat with him has left me feeling accepted and that our energies were going in the right direction, and that creating stuff that comes from those deep parts of the soul is the only way. His encouragement has been energizing and provided bright rays when the path wasn't always clear. Thank you. And I know that I am not the only one. Thank you. It's always felt to me that Tim cares as much about the people that make games as the games themselves. It's not just about what do you deliver, but it's about what your take is. He knows that they take the blood, sweat, and tears, and a hefty chunk of our souls. And so he encourages us that we may as well make sure that we get our unique visions on the screen. His work with Double Fine is true evidence of this. They are such an amazingly brilliant friggin' force for good in our community, like amazing. Not only do they open their doors to game dev visitor after visitor, but between their internal jam approach to projects, Day of the Devs and Double Fine Presents, they combine people, creativity, and projects in a way that is unparalleled. I feel like they're one of the few places that unashamedly revel in the chaotic brilliance of making games, whilst others spend all of their time trying to tame it or find the formula. Tim is exactly the person that the games industry needs to celebrate. He wants all of us to do well. He wants all of us to be happy. He wants our medium to be one that is filled with amazing, unique games made by anyone who wants to make them. He fights the good fight and is unafraid to step out into the firing line to stand up for what he believes in. Let's take a look at some of his work.
The BAFTA Fellowship.
Who is Tim Schafer?
He's kind of a person who doesn't really need an introduction.
He's the most creative, warm-hearted, amazing game creator I can think of.
Well, Tim Schafer to me is one of the founding fathers of the games industry. He's a game designer. The games that he has worked on and designed have had far-reaching influences in the industry. He's one of the most charming, delightful people you could wish to meet, and a real inspiration.
For me, Tim is a master storyteller. You know, if you ask a normal person, what did you do this morning? They went and got a cup of coffee. If you ask Tim Schafer what he did that morning, he'll tell you everything that happened along the journey. He'll tell you what he saw. He'll tell you what the people behind him in line were saying. And he'll tell you a tale and bring you into it with charm and quirkiness.
Tim is funny. He's fucking funny. And he really cares about character.
I'm headed into the lair of the giant spider queen. Anybody got a problem with that? My friend is dying. I'm heading in there now. You sure you don't want to talk me out of it? No? Okay.
Tim's games stand out because he's hilarious, and he's quirky, and he's charming, and there's a bit of an outsider to Tim. So his games are generally like taking a character and plopping them into a space that they're unfamiliar with. And then you sort of navigate that space along with them with charm and humor. And I think most people feel like outsiders, so they relate to all of his characters so much.
I think he really tries to give us delight and joy through gameplay, which is so difficult to do from a design perspective, and he does it.
Decapitation! There. It is dead. And you, I will now teach you. Hang on. I shall now teach you of French kissing.
Yeah, you can always tell a Tim-written game because he just writes unlike anyone else. He has such a unique personal style to his writing, and it's just hilarious to hear his characters talk to you.
So I wrote some lines, including the line, "Really, Splarg, is it my birthday or something?" That's gonna be probably the best line in the game. Can't tell now, but 10 years from now, you'll know.
But I think he also just is known for creating really rich worlds with characters that feel unique and alive, and worlds that are kind of unlike anything you've ever seen before in games. And they're all totally different too, which is exciting, so you never really know what to expect from a Tim game and what could be next.
The first game that I really experienced was called Secret of Monkey Island. And it had an incredible humour to it, an irreverent humour. It was about pirates, but it was about more than that. And it was so fascinating and charming and amusing. It was one of those games that you couldn't help talking about to your friends. And that's true of everything that Tim has done.
I mean, one of my early favourites was Day of the Tentacle. It had such incredible art. It had a real kind of cartoon style, and I mean, it looked like something that would just jump out of the TV. You know, it wasn't like the kind of games I was playing at the time, which tended to be more about like running around and jumping on things and making them explode.
Oh great, I'm stuck in colonial times, tentacles are taking over the world, and now the toilet's backing up.
I think Tim really brought this new genre of funny, quirky games, which didn't really exist before outside of the other LucasArts people that he was working with. So I think storytelling, great characters are the things that he brought to the community.
From this day forward, you are all psychic soldiers, paranormal paratroopers, mental marines who are about to ship out on the adventure of their lives.
They told me this was a summer camp.
Tim has really used his influence and his bajillions of dollars and gajillions of Twitter followers to speak for what's right, which is that we need to be more open and more inclusive and have new weird games being made every year. And I think that's a huge contribution.
He loves to give back to the industry. He's a contributor, he's an outspoken supporter of inclusion and diversity. His studio, the team that he works with, they're really his family. And he's made personal sacrifices for them, and I know that, and he wants to keep them together. And he, in very dark times in the game industry, Tim was one of the leaders who stood out and spoke up and supported the underrepresented developers out there.
He's always encouraging new creators to come into this space and get their stories out and really contribute to the gaming world. He's not just like, I'm the big shot, screw you guys. He's encouraging the next generation all the time.
There's only one thing that I would complain about Tim, is that he can never give me enough hugs or hang out with me enough, give me enough advice. We can never drink enough beer. So at some point in time, there has to be a limit to how much Tim Schafer you can have, and it's never enough for me.
The BAFTA Fellowship.
So with this fellowship, we are celebrating his design skills, his ability to tell stories, to make us laugh in a medium where that's unusual, and being a force for good and therefore an ally. He breaks the rule of don't meet your heroes, rush out and meet this guy. And the funny thing is, you will walk away having been made to feel like the hero or heroine. Barry and I just watched all of Lord of the Rings again the other day, and so I'm feeling the Fellowship vibes quite strong. And I was kind of wondering, like, if the games industry had a ring to take to Mordor, could Tim do it? I think Tim could do it, and actually only Tim could do it. This year's BAFTA Fellowship is awarded to the wonderful, fabulous, gorgeous, amazing Tim Schafer.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and you're all standing up. That's good. Stretch those leg muscles. You've been sitting for a long time. I'm gonna try. I'll keep this short because they already game of the year, and you're probably sick of seeing me already after that video. And also, if I talk too long, I'll start to get all emotional and blubbery, and no one wants to see me ugly cry again. And I was recently at an event where I was thanking all the people who had helped me in my career, and it was such a long list that I got really overwhelmed. And there were a couple of themes to that list. One was I've met so many amazing people like Siobhan and everyone in that video, and I've been so lucky in who I've met, and also that my career has had so many near-death experiences where it almost ended if it were not for those people. And I felt a lot like that career was like an old Buster Keaton movie where he's walking down the street and he's reading a newspaper, not watching where he's going, and he steps on a construction girder, and then a crane lifts him up in the air, and he's about to walk to his death, and then right at the last minute, another girder comes by, and he walks on that one, and then another girder, and on for 30 years until someone hands him a big heavy trophy and he falls to his death. And of course, those girders in that story are an allegory that come in and save me at the last minute are, of course, an allegory for my looks that I've been exploiting all these years. So I'd like to thank them, first of all. No, it's always about those people that have supported me, and that when you look at it that way, it really encourages you to want to keep that going, keep that rolling, and help and support other people. And I think that's what's so great about the BAFTAs. The BAFTAs are such a great organization that not only just give us this excuse to get all pretty once a year, but also they do so many things throughout the year to encourage new people in the industry and creativity in general, and establish mentorships and have programs like the BAFTA Crew and the Breakthrough Brits. And so I love what they do. Thank you. Breakthrough Brits is now accepting nominations, by the way, so get in there. And I believe in that mission too, and I really want to do that, even though sometimes it feels strange because we'll, in one breath, be like, we have to lower the boundaries and let more and more people into the games industry. And then in the next breath, we'll be complaining, but there's so many games coming out. Oh my God, there's so many games. And sometimes I wonder, like, do we want fewer games or do we want more games? We want more people entering, but we also want no one to launch a game on the same weekend that we launch a game. So how do we rectify those two things together? And I think we definitely do. We definitely do want both, but we don't want people to just come and help us do what we're already doing. We really want those new voices, new perspectives to come and shake things up, and to come from groups that have not been represented in games so far, and to tell new stories and really throw a big, creative monkey wrench into the works. Or wait, not monkey wrench, spanner. Spanner, thank you, sorry. I've gotten in trouble for that before. It's a Monkey Island joke for really old people. Thank you. But we really want those people to if you're starting out in the industry, it's often, I remember how it felt to come to a big event like this and see how established the industry is and how many people have done such amazing things, and the games are so big and everyone loves them so much, and you think, how can my little creative self thing fit into all of this? How can I fit into this enormous, impressive thing? And the answer is, don't try to fit into it. Just smash it to pieces with your own creative, inspirational game that no one else can make but you. And that's what I really want to encourage people to do. And I feel like yeah, that goes for the old timers too, and I've always felt like we've tried to do that. I tried to do that throughout my career, and always the BAFTAs have always supported that. It seemed like the weirder ideas I had, the more supportive BAFTAs was to me, and I want to thank them for that, and I want to thank them for this. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Very kind. Congratulations to our BAFTA Fellowship winner, Tim Schafer.